What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. Now, obviously, I know you guys been keeping up in the news lately. I mean, it's not as if I haven't. I've been hearing you guys ask me this these past couple of days. Devontae, let me get your opinion in regards to the low ticket sales. And Devontae, Collision, it's like under 300,000 views. It's like, what, 270K views they just had this past Saturday? I mean, even though if you want to keep it in good faith, it was obviously because of the Royal Rumble. But that doesn't mean anything, because it's not as if you haven't been seeing decreasing numbers overall in whatever metric when talking about AEW engaging with their fans and, you know, their audience retention overall. It's been decreasing in every criteria and every metric this past year or so, maybe even longer, at least in comparison to 2021. That's not me saying that. That's the head honcho who wishes things will go back to 2021 in regards to the metrics, right? And obviously there are a bunch of elements you could bring in and discuss if you want to be good faith, as I said earlier before, and talk about what is going on in comparison to said 2024, 2023, 2022 to a 2021 when they were at their peak. And you could talk about the environment. You could talk about things like the economy, obviously. You could talk about them repeatedly going back to the same place over and over and over and over again. If you want to be, for the third time now, good faith and be charitable about the situation. But from my eyes, at least from my perspective, especially when talking about the IWC overall, I always felt that their fans kind of gave them this certain aura, this certain snobbish arrogance about them that was very put offish. And whenever talking to an AEW fan, it was always this certain type of, I don't know, like undeserved conceitedness about them that felt like it made them feel as if like, hey man, we're a part of a club, an exclusive club. We're the superior wrestling fan. And they always had this attitude about them that made me look at them and go to myself, I just say to myself, like, I don't want to watch your product just so I could stick it to you. I mean, never mind the fact that AEW is just, I mean, with all due respect to the company and to the people who actually do like it, it's just, at least for me, and I might be speaking for most casual fans, it's just not the kind of wrestling experience that is needed in 2024. I think that's the best way to say it, right? And again, it's that combined with the arrogance of their fan base to actually believe that they are on par with, say, a WWE, or feel like they currently have a brand right now that is superior in every, as I said earlier, criteria in regards to what makes a good professional wrestling brand. And it's that type of attitude that I feel is holding back AEW overall. So I got 4 things off the top of my head that I feel can improve the product in spite of the AEW fans. Now again, this is very different from the other videos, because in the other videos, when I talk about AEW and the improvement within the company and what they should be doing, or even when I talk about WWE or just wrestling overall, I usually hone in on specific things, the superstars, or like the actual storylines or the presentation. This right here are things that I feel that are very minimalistic, but it comes at a price of probably alienating your hardcore fan base. But in the long run, I feel like it would improve and it will pretty much expand you to everybody else. And hell, if the AEW fans were so on board with the product because of the brand name in itself, they shouldn't have a problem with this overall, right? Right? So without further ado, let's get into this list. And again, it's going to piss off a couple of AEW fanboys, but I mean, that's kind of the point. So let's kick it off with number 4. So to start off this list, I always felt like AEW had like this hard on. Again, as I talked about in the intro, it's this weird type of dynamics that all the AEW fans have about themselves. And you know when you see it, because whenever you talk to them, one of the first things they like to say to you, if you criticize an AEW, and for that matter, a New Japan Pro Wrestling or AAA or anything that's not WWE, to be perfectly honest with you, hell, maybe even TNA to a certain degree, They have this superiority about them that makes them believe that they're a better wrestling fan than you. And if you ever criticize anything outside of WWE, the first thing they like to call you is they'll say that you're not a real wrestling fan. I know you heard it 1,000,001 times. Oh, you like that WWE product, don't you? Oh, I bet you like watching big sweaty men, do headlocks all day. Well, okay, you can kind of spin that around also and just say that you like to watch flippy guys do compilation moves for like 3 hours and you want to call that compelling television, when in reality, it's no different than watching stunt doubles throw fists and punch and kicks at each other in acrobatic manners and movies that we've been seeing for the better part of like 60 or 70 years now. I mean, I like to watch big sweaty men throw headlocks and shit like that. Okay, cool. If we want to just make it about that, then you like to watch skinny little men flip around and twirl around on each other's dicks like they're fucking spinners, right? We don't need to see international talents come from AAA Pro Wrestling or New Japan Pro Wrestling or any of these other places in the United Kingdom with different styles, and it's been done to death. I mean, how long do you have to see the same thing over and over and over again before you get through your mind that, hey man, you could probably go watch this specifically in that country if you really want to get your fix in regards to professional wrestling? Now, I would think with AEW, them trying to portray themselves as being the alternative would mean that you would do something that's different than WWE. WWE is doing no different than what AEW is doing in regards to going to different countries and bringing talent over and having that experience inside their ring. The only difference is that AEW turns the notch up to 10 and they do it like way more harder, I guess, than WWE. Like I said before, it's not really an alternative, right? It's like cooking a steak and one is medium rare and the other one is well done, but in the end of the day, you're still eating a steak. To be an alternative, I think you will offer chicken, maybe some beef, right? Because I guess beef is a steak. Pork, I guess, would probably be the right word to say. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to keep focusing on international talent and bringing them over, because in the end of the day, what do they provide that we're already not seeing in WWE? What are they providing in professional wrestling that you're not seeing already, like, within that region of the world, right? Because they're doing it a lot better than what AEW is doing, because you're mixing talents in the end of the day, doing the same thing over and over and over again. Most wrestling fans with that type of snobbish attitude will probably just tell you anyways that you're not getting the authentic experience. If you really want to get a true round robin tournament, why check out AEW's stupid tournament where you can just come to New Japan Pro Wrestling and watch the G1 Climax? Am I right? Oh, you're gonna see these luchadors wrestle right here. Oh, you're not getting the true experience. You're not an authentic fan. Go check out AAA Pro Wrestling. Oh, right? Oh, you think you know what you're... Oh, this what do you call it? I don't know, the European strong style. Oh, no, you need to come to the UK and you need to check out, world sports wrestling. It's like, in the end of the day, I mean, like, okay, you're bringing these people over to wrestle for your company and no one is really being established in the end of the day because you're just putting that talent on your television just for an exhibition. No one's really getting over. Seriously, who is getting over? Like, honestly, you know how I know no one's getting over? Because look at your ratings right now, currently. Look at your ticket sales right now, currently. I'm happy that one wrestling fan, I guess per 100, is happy and is satisfied with what they're watching on television. But we can get that same thing, but within that talent, they know how to talk, right? There's a presentation about them that goes far and beyond just the wrestling. And I don't mean them coming over and shooting from the hip, brother, because it seems like every time you want to get someone over doing a promo, if you have to get over the fact that they can do flips and kicks, is them having to shoot from the hip, brother, or bringing up some Dave Meltzer backstage news 5-star stuff that happened in New Japan Pro Wrestling 6 years ago that no one knows anything fuck all about. But of course, if you don't know anything about it, that doesn't make you an authentic wrestling fan. You don't have to focus on international talents like that, man. I'm not even saying you don't have to bring them in, but what I'm saying is to just make that the presentation as a whole and say like that right there. Okay, bringing in someone from New Japan Pro Wrestling like fucking chicken naka Goku versus El Helio naka and then they get in the ring and then they do their taekwondo moves and they flip around and then they end in a La Maestro Carrero. It's like, it's every fucking match too, which makes it even worse. It's like you can live without having to see that and making that your image, because I mean, where is that getting you in the end of the day? Especially when you do it, like I said, every match, because at that point, not only is it not getting over, Now it's getting cliche. Oh, this one might actually hurt the WWE fanboys too, am I right? You guys can stop it with the tribalist bullshit. In particular, talking to the AEW fans, I know, go ahead, call me biased all you want to, but I'm going somewhere with this. Because even though the WWE fans could be a bunch of tribalist dipshits also, don't get it twisted, they are out there, the ones who like to wish death on AEW, as if that's going to have any type of productive manner on the wrestling business. Oh, I want these wrestlers to get fired. Oh, I want AEW to go out of business. So shut the fuck up, okay? All right, take the dick out of the girl's asshole that Vince McMahon stuck it inside and go ahead and suck it off. Shut the fuck up. But AEW fanboys, because I feel personally whenever I go online, this is just from my perspective, don't get it twisted. Like I said, you have the WWE tribalist dipshits out there also, but it seems like at least within the online, you know, like I go in the comment sections on YouTube videos, I see it on Twitter, well, within my own comment section sometimes, I see it a lot where it's like, whenever WWE fanboys talk amongst each other and shit like that, it's like they make the most stupidest nine fucking comments, and you know, it's usually like the Indians or like the little kids or the basement dwellers, or you know, like, oh, look at that suplex from Charlotte Flair. She must be very lovely. Like, you know, stupid fucking comments like that usually people just make just to get upvotes, right? Whenever it comes to the AEW fanboys, though, it's always like, oh, yeah, that's right. Take that, WWE. Like, where the fuck did that even come from? And again, it's not like the WWE fanboys don't do this also, but I feel like I see it a lot more often with AEW. It's like whenever talking to an AEW fanboy or whenever you see them talk, it's never just strictly about the product in itself. It's always having to throw a rope over the WWE, and you have to pull them in. That was show Triple H. That was show New York. They talk like that. I know it's weird, right? That was show Vince McMahon. No, this was show this. This was show that. And one more thing also, as much as I hate the WWE tribalists, in the end of the day, at least they support a company. At least they support a company doing two things. One, they're established. Two, they're not focused on the competition. Whereas you have the AEW fanboys along with the AEW product, along with the management, and it's like they're all just kind of just circle jerking around saying, oh yeah, we're so much better than WWE. Oh yeah, look at this segment right here. Oh yeah. It's like WWE's competing with themselves and AEW's attempting to compete with WWE. What are you getting out of that at the end of the day? You are not. You will never. Let me say this, okay? Let me say this. The possibility of you competing with WWE is almost ground level. Now, granted, again, notice the word I said, almost ground level. There's a 0.1% chance that you might scratch the surface of actually competing with WWE one of these days. But I can tell you this much, you ain't gonna get there constantly circle jerking around each other going, Vince McMahon, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, that was show them. This segment right here, it got like the third of the NXT rating. Look at this right here. Oh, you see that guy right there? He cut a promo on WWE. He called them names. Like, what were you getting out of that, huh? What are you getting out of that? And again, this is a back and forth thing, but you got one company who's like treading water, like a lot of water in comparison to who they're talking about. But then you have the other company, and again, they're not acknowledging you at all. This tribalist shit overall is just fucking annoying, but I feel like AEW fanboys do it, and it's like, god damn, bro. Talk about doing it from a perch as low as your fucking mom's tits. Get out of here with that bullshit. Focus on your own company. That goes double for the wrestlers and management also. Oh, number two. Oh, this is going to make a lot of fanboys mad. Oh, number one's going to kill you, though. But this one right here, this is just the appetizer right here, okay? This is me with the elbow to the back of the head, knocking you out cold. Number one is, what am I going to do to you? But this right here, I'm knocking you out cold first, all right? Distance yourself from your indie persona. Yeah. So take number four, and then like turn that bitch up sideways and stick it straight up your kind of ass. But go a little bit further also. All right, distance yourself from the Dave Meltzers of the world. Okay, the F4, what's it called? FO4 World Online with Brian Alvarez and all those nerds. Distance yourself from that. Distance yourself from the internet overall. Distance yourself from just that Shikara nonsense. Just distance yourself overall. Say what you will about WWE. You know why they get these millions and billions of dollars worth of television deals? Keyword, television. They focus on television. You may say to yourself, Devontae, it's a pro wrestling company. Shouldn't you focus on the aspect of pro wrestling? Well, yeah, you can do that and you should do that, but always remember, first and foremost, you're a television show. You know what that means? I turn on the TV, I sit back, and I want to see somewhat of a sitcom. You may say to yourself, well, Devontae, again, aren't we pro wrestling? You can be a sitcom and you can be pro wrestling. The sitcom aspect is to get me involved to want to see the pro wrestling. All right, in the end of the day, you're still a television show. That should be the presentation. Not me going to an indie show with 5 other fucking musky ass neckbeards, witnessing fucking, some lame ass dude who probably got paid with mustard, maybe relish on his hot dog, coming to some fucking high school gym, getting ready to break his neck against some other douchebag just so they can get booked on fucking what? Some bullshit indie show somewhere in the UK? No. When I come watch your show, whether it's live or whether it's on television, I want to be entertained, right? I want to be able to look at whoever is the star. Usually that should be your champion. I know AEW. Wow, I know, right? It's too bad you never actually make that a concept, but that kind of shit like that, for an example, right? There should be some type of linear storytelling. I've been harping on this for years now, half a decade, damn near. Linear storytelling, right? You focus on one superstar who happens to be the star of your show, that usually being your champion. Again, I know, ridiculous concept, right? Because that champion being the star of your brand, it makes it worthwhile when the next person gets that championship belt. I've been harping on this for the longest now. Constantly having to rotate superstars, doing something funny, engaging in something serious, doing something emotional, trying to get you attached to the characters. So when the time comes when they actually get into the wrestling, I know we can actually relate to the superstar. Again, explosion, hard fucking concept, am I right? But it's little things like that you should be doing. Not focusing on other criterias to make you, engage with the indie neckbeards? Like, what the fuck? Oh, man, look at that, a disqualification finish. Not knowing that this is what you need to do in order to prolong the story that we're engaging with at the moment. -5 stars. I'm not going to like this match because this guy right here, he got a shitty disqualification finish. It's ridiculous, bro. You're not going to get anywhere with that mentality, bro. There are things that you should be doing. It's okay. It's perfectly fine to have a count-out finish with 2 superstars you can put on 5-star matches. It's okay to do that because you know why? You're building up to the pay-per-view that you're trying to get us to buy when you can actually make that worthwhile or more worthwhile. You don't have to have a guy, not every fucking, it's like they have this mentality overall, bro. Not every match has to be 5 stars. Not every match has to be a best of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not every match has to be an Iron Man. Not every match has to be a kick out fucking goddamn Japanese fucking jack off fest. Not everything has to be that, bro. Like when I come watch a television show, I come watch a television. That's what I want to see. All right. I want to be able to feel no different than what I grew up watching, actual television shows, all right? Like, if I want to see comedy or something like that, I want to engage with your product no different than how I engage with, Malcolm and Eddie, or Martin, or, French Prince of Bel-Air or anything like that. I want to engage with it within the comedy aspect of that. If I want to engage with it as far as romanticizing it over it or whatever the case may be, I want to look at it like I get engaged with The Notebook. Maybe there's a storyline that can make me engaged like I'm watching Titanic, for an example, right? If I want to be scared because you have a presentation like that, I want to be able to engage with your product no different than how I engage with, say, Jeepers Creepers, or say, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Okay, maybe a bad example if I Know What You Did Last Summer, but you get what I'm trying to say though, right? I want to engage with your product no different than the presentations that are shown within movies and in television shows. If your overall aspect is to just go out there and they just put on 5-star classics in every fucking match, then again, it's just an exhibition. Why should I look at your television show when I could just go watch, like I said 1,000,001 times, some fucking kung fu movie, put it on loop, and then just make a compilation video out of it for 3 hours and just watch that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, all right? If I want to watch something that's sports elemented, then I'll just go watch the fucking Olympics. I'll go watch an NCAA tournament. Hell, I'll just go to some local high school gym and watch actual real wrestlers do that shit. You are sports entertainment, no matter how much you want to disdain your... Because I love how WWE, they hate the wrestling. Well, okay, you hate the sports entertainment aspect about it, okay? All right? As much as you want to pick on WWE focusing so much on the E, it seems like you focus too much on the W. All right? When the main thing that you should be focused on is the other W within that W and the E in the middle, meaning world. Meaning you can have all these things happen at one time. Not focusing on one, not focusing on the other, but I will say the other that you hate so much, WWE is doing a pretty good damn job at it, and they're kicking your asses at it right about now. And finally, number 1, the death blow. The shot that's going to take out every AEW fanboy, because this right here is the main problem. And you're never going to grow unless you admit it. You have, sorry I burped there, a problem. That's your main thing that you need to understand. Your ticket sales are indeed low. Historically low in comparison to your own metrics. You do not have any stars in your company currently at the moment. No, you don't. You have promising stars. You do not have any stars at the moment. Because if that was the case, your ratings and your viewership and your overall audience retention would not be in the shitter like it currently is right now. You do not have the correct presentation to not only compete with WWE, which shouldn't even be your main concern, but to even stay stable enough to retain some of the fans who are even giving your company a chance. AEW fanboys, you need to understand, not only are you number 2, not only are you a distant number 2, you're now starting to go down to number 3, because it seems like TNA is starting to figure this shit out a lot quicker than you are starting to figure this out. You need to understand that in the end of the day, you will never be number 1. You need to understand, in the end of the day, you will never, ever be what is represented in professional wrestling. Whenever you see a wrestling fan or someone at an airport that says wrestling or something wrestling related, you will never be brought up first. Maybe at all. WWE will always be what's brought up first. That's just a fact. No matter how much you hate that, no matter how much you despise that, that will always be the case. Whenever professional wrestling is talked about, the first thing that is first affiliated with it will always be WWE. You need to understand that, and you need to admit that. Constantly going on, and I'm talking about Tony Khan here, constantly going on social media and pretending as if the world around you is not here, constantly going around on social media and pretending as if the only thing that presides within your echo chamber are you and your fans. That's not gonna help you in the end of the day, my dude. That's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help any of us. It's like the whole WWE cliche of saying that, oh, you need a dog to chase you in order to run faster, right? Well, it's like AEW. It's like you're running right now. You're hauling ass, but no one's chasing you. You want to tell everybody else that someone is chasing you. No one's chasing you. And you're still number 2. No one's chasing you. You want to pretend someone's chasing you, but in reality, you're catching up. You're hauling ass right now, but you're catching up. And I feel like all the AEW fanboys, they want to pretend as if someone is chasing them. No. Notice when you're running, notice when you're hauling ass, you're looking forward. I don't know why you keep looking behind you. There's no one behind you. Granted, in the distance, it looks like TNA's catching up a little tiny bit. But focusing on this whole WWE, AEW, there's no one behind you. Only in front of you. And you can't see them right now. One of the biggest problems I have, like the biggest problem, is constantly looking at danger right in front of your face and just whistling past the graveyard. Looking at your ratings and still doing the same thing over and 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 over again. You know the old saying? You're crazy. What's the old saying? The old saying goes something like this. You're crazy if you do the same thing over and over again, knowing that it failed the first time, knowing that it failed the second time, expecting it to give you different results. Yet they just do this like repeatedly. How many times do you have to put on this type of presentation when it's focusing on equality, political correctness, wrestling? When your overall mentality is trying to appease the UK fans, when your overall mentality is trying to appease the Canadian Justin Trudeau voter, when your main criteria is trying to appease a Brian Zane, how do you grow from that? You just put yourself in a box. Because here, in the end of the day, I'm still that kind of fan. That mentality still lies within me. I like good wrestling. I just want it nowadays to have a point. All of us, we all like good professionals. There's not one person in this audience who doesn't appreciate a good 5-star wrestling match. There's nobody in the audience who looks at something like an Undertaker and a Shawn Michaels and says to themselves, no, I don't want that. There's no one who looks at, say, even a Kenny Omega or a Kazuchika Okada. Or sorry, how do you say his name? I'm sorry, I got it wrong the first time. So many people got so mad at me saying his name. See, that type of fucking mentality, right? A Kazashka. Fuck it. Kazuchika. There we go. Fuck it. I don't know his name. Fuck it. I'm going to call him Okada. It's not as if no one doesn't appreciate that. But when your mentality is, well, I understand the story. You're just mad that you don't understand the story. But this story that I and only me and people like me understand, we get why they're wrestling. And that's why it deserves a 7-star. No, it's that mentality as to why you're stuck in the position as to where you are at right now. It's that mentality. You know why no one knows an Okada, even though he's big in the IWC? It's because he doesn't have a character. It's because Okada, and by character, I don't mean what you call a character. I mean the traditional definition of a character. We can't relate to an Okada. Your relation to an Okada, it's not even a relation to the character. It's a relation to the next person who likes Okada. That's your relation to Okada. It's that superiority relation you have with the next wrestling fan who you're like almost in some type of mental gymnastic competition with to see who's the better wrestling fan. I don't care who's the better wrestling fan. Fine. Boom. Good. I don't care. You're a better wrestling fan than me. That's great. You know the name of that move. That's awesome. You can recite every match that happened in 1970s New Japan Pro Wrestling. Awesome. That's great. Boom. You're so proud of yourself. Is that like some type of high achievement? Great. Pat yourself on the shoulder. But guess what? Look at your company that you're now, that same company that you're such a huge fan of right now because you know so much knowledge, right? Tony Khan, big wrestling fan. Where's that getting you in the ratings? Where's that getting you? Where's that getting you in audience retention in the end of it? Where is that getting you? And you say to yourself, well, why does that matter? Because it's that right there that's going to eventually get you kicked off of television. And then what are you supporting in the end of the day? Huh? I want to support AEW, just like you're supporting AEW. Why can't we both support AEW? I want a reason. You don't have a reason. Your reason is just some tribalist nonsense. I want a reason. I want to like them. I want them to grow. It seems like in the end of the day, you just want to hold on to it and no one else should be. It's like you're gatekeeping. Who gatekeeps wrestling? That's fucking insanity. And it's that mentality right there. All four of these things that we discussed today, that's going to kill your company. And the sad part about it is that Tony Khan is surrounded by like-minded people such as you guys who represent these four things, who make him feel as if he's doing something right. And the more and more you keep up this mentality, the more and more it's going to bite you in the ass. It's very ironic. Your support is going to end up killing AEW. Make that make sense. As always, my name is Devontae, and I hope you enjoyed this top 4 list. I'll catch you guys later. Deuces, P, Ice.